What do you mean you have Alzheimer's? Is this true? Can you even have Alzheimer's at 38?
I don't know, but the genetic screen showed that I have it.
Are there any treatments?
There are several treatments I'm exploring with my doctor, but they're just medications that can possibly slow down the progression of it, such as Razodon. Dad carried the mutated APP gene, meaning that the certain gene was altered, but the mutation can skip a generation if it's recessive.
I recommend that one or all of us meet with a genetic counselor to talk about how it might affect our family and our ability to have kids.
Genetic counselor? It's my disease!
A genetic counselor is a healthcare professional in specialized training with medical genetics, and counseling can evaluate and understand our family's risk to inherit a medical condition.
Suzanne, I don't know if I feel comfortable with a random person looking at our family genetics.
I really need to know this. If David and I plan on having kids, then we need to know if there is a hereditary disease. It would not be fair to our kids if we were to have them knowing the full well that they will have EOFAD.
Will the government own the testing results if you do this?
I'm not sure about that, but what I do know is that the government has yet to establish laws that set clear precedents with regards to ownership of biological property.
Fine.
Should you get the diagnostics test?
I think I should, because I know that meiosis helps replicate gametes, so if I have the EOFAD, that means that 50% of my eggs will carry the mutated APP gene.
But how do you know that your eggs carry the trait?
I know that they will carry the trait because the gene, which is the unit of heredity, is passed on the offspring through the gamete, which are my eggs and your sperm.
If your APP gene is mutated, what does that cause problems for?
Well, the APP gene codes for a certain protein. This particular protein can lead to problems in the brain because it can cut other proteins apart.
Has there ever been any research done to look into this problem?
I have heard of Human Genome Project in its efforts to determine the sequence of chemical base pairs which make up DNA, published in 2001 with the help of Congress funding. It was successful because it was able to complete a high-quality sequence of nearly complete human genome.
Okay, so if we do have the test done, how will the doctors accomplish that?
Well, they would take a sample of tissue and then send it to the lab where it was extracted. It will then be tested in several different ways, including being surveyed in aerogose gel electrophoresis. When that happens, the gel electrolysis works by using an electric current to pass DNA samples through a gel. The gel acts like a strainer, allowing smaller DNA molecules to migrate through a gel quicker than larger molecules. The gel is visualized under a UV light, where DNA samples appear as bands. They can also use a polymerase chain reaction, which reproduces sections of DNA or an RNA. Now that PCR is done in test tubes, it takes only a few hours.
Suzanne and David go to see a doctor about their kids potentially having the mutated APP genes because Karen, Suzanne's sister, has EOFAD.
Good morning. What are you here to see me for today?
My sister has been recently diagnosed with early onset familial Alzheimer's disease. David and I have recently been talking about having a family, and we are concerned our child will have the mutated allele.
Yes, we are very concerned. Well, one of your options is a pre-implantation diagnosis. This procedure will involve in vitro fertilization. This surgery will take out the mutated gene and ensure no embryo has the mutated gene. Then, we will implant the embryo in Suzanne's uterus. What are the side effects for Suzanne? There's a possibility of discomfort. Also, there's always the possibility of miscarriage.
Is there any coverage with health insurance?
No, only 15 states have coverage for the procedure, while the others have no coverage. The procedure is quite expensive, but worth it in the end. It ensures your child's life with no disease. That is definitely worth it. Our child's life is our priority.
We still have to consider the options because it is against our moral beliefs. I don't know if I want to put faith in a person's hands and take it away from God.
I think it is worth it if it ensures our child with the fullest life they can have.
We will discuss this in private. We will get back to you soon, Doctor. What are our options for having a child without a mutated gene?
The only way to have a chance of your child not having the mutated gene is to get an IVF.
What is an IVF?
It is the process by which eggs are removed from the female's ovaries and mixed with the sperm in a laboratory culture dish.
What does this do?
Well, the fertilization of the egg will take place in the dish by your husband's sperm.
What are the IVF success rates?
Pregnancy was achieved in an average of 29% of all PDG cycles.
What is the percentage of live births?
The percentage of cycles that result in live births was 22 on average, 22% on average. But please keep in mind that each of these percentages are higher or lower depending on the age of the woman. And for the percent of live birth, it depends on several things.
What are those factors?
The success of all this depends on your reason for infertility. Where are you having the procedure done and your age?
So what if we do the IVF treatment? Would our insurance cover it?
It is all dependent on your insurance company and which state you live in.
What do you mean?
In 15 states, all insurance is required to pay for treatments involving infertility, and the doctor you choose to do this procedure. Depending on the doctor you choose to go to, and what insurance companies they are and network with, will determine how much out-of-pocket you will pay.
Are there any other factors we should be made aware of?
Yes, some insurance companies will only cover certain type of IVF procedure depending on the overall cost. For example, most insurance companies would not cover a hysteroscopy.
What are the types of IVFs you might consider doing?
First, there's chronic illness sample and amniocentesis.
Please explain what each are to me and my wife.
CVS is a parental test that diagnoses chromosomal abnormalities such as Down syndrome.
How is this done?
It is done by extracting chronic villi from the placenta and sending it to a lab for genetic analysis. It is done by ultrasound-guided biopsy.
What is amniocentesis?
This takes a sample of amniotic fluid from the uterus and removes it and sends it to the lab for genetic analysis.
What are the risks?
Both IVF procedures run the risk of miscarriage. CVS may cause defects in the finger and toes, and this only occurs before the 9th week of pregnancy.
What are the next possible steps for us as a family?
All this is up to you to make the choice to have children and in what way you will have them born. Please come to me in a couple of weeks and let me know the decision you made.
After 2 rounds of PGD testing, Suzanne and David gave birth to a healthy baby girl without the APP mutated gene. Oh my god.
I'm gonna regret this so much. She's filming.
Eating a cake pop.
You're not filming me?
Wow, that's mature.
Got to.
30 minutes? Okay, we can do this. What are we doing with this?
You're reading it.
Okay. Okay, let me turn this off.
And I have
To have a chance of your child not having a mutated gene. The only way you did.
You said laboratory.
the laboratory heat drish.
Okay, what if we just sample? Most insurance companies would cover a hyperoscopy. Okay, and it's done by ultrasound guided biopsy.